Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Monday, which means it's time for a 5x5. Now, this is where I take 5 subjects related to magic. I spend 5 minutes talking about each subject. I then move on to the next subject. It's always quick, it's always snappy. You never know what you're going to get. Now, there's no live performance this week because I've got a kind of a loose theme running. This week, I'm going to talk about a few different tricks that I've been performing for years, and a little bit like a hidden gems, maybe they've fallen under people's radars. And I'm going to go through a few ways that I perform these tricks and a few different things that I do with these props, which are not the way that most people use them. And I think that if you see how I use them, it might inspire some creativity, and it might maybe have you guys thinking in a different direction. There's one particular thing I want to talk about with a coin that I've been doing now for the last 2 or 3 months, and it is killer. So I can't wait to show you this. Yeah, and then as of next week, we'll be back to normal with the normal format of the 5x5. So without further ado, let's get on with this week's 5x5. So the first thing I want to talk to you about on this week's 5x5 is Turbo Stick by Richard Sanders. Now, Turbo Stick has been around for a long time. It's by Richard Sanders and Leo Smesters, so 2 big names there. And it is an absolutely killer prop. And the main routine, the routine that most people do, is the one with the X's, where you draw the X's on the paddle and you're removing them and they're jumping back on. Like, it's a super commercial routine. There's no table required. It's an instant reset. It's examinable. It's all that fun stuff. But I carry a couple of these around with me because there's a lot more you can do with it. And I think a lot of people, they get the trick, they watch the DVD, they see all the other things that Richard does with it, but then they just kind of settle on the cross trick. And I have a couple of these. I have one set up for the cross trick, and I also have one set up for another routine that I've been doing recently, and it gets killer reactions. Now, before I actually show you the trick, and you'll know exactly how it works immediately, but it's a really cool presentation. I just want to address the fact I've spoken to people that say, oh, you shouldn't use a turbo stick in a gig because it doesn't look like an organic object. It looks like nothing on God's green earth. And my attitude towards this is simple. If you are being paid to be at a gig, if you're at a gig as a magician, I think that people expect you to come up with stuff that's weird and wonderful and crazy and a little bit different. You know, if you're going to have a chop cup with you, or you're going to have a pack of cards or some silver dollars, or lights are going to come from your fingertips, or whatever it may be, or sponge balls, and this goes on and on and on. What's the problem with a tiny little stick? And I just justify this by saying, look, this is kind of the world's smallest whiteboard. It's basically a whiteboard, but it's just a tiny version. I'm going to show you something with this. So I just wanted to kind of address that, because I know it's a negative that some people have. I don't see it as a problem at all. Anyway, let me show you the trick. I've got Jack behind the camera. Jack?
Hello.
I'm going to show you something with a little tiny whiteboard. This is the world's smallest whiteboard, yeah?
Yeah.
It's got 2 sides, so you can actually put a whole bunch in there. But I'm going to show you 2 things. The first thing that I'm going to show you is how to print onto this stick. And then I'm going to show you how to actually change the ink itself, which sounds crazy, but you'll see. Now, we're going to start off with my phone. And the reason is I want you to think of a celebrity. And I want it to be a completely random decision. So here's what we're going to do. On my phone, let me just do this. There you go. On my phone, on the notes page, I have 100 random notes. Okay. Sorry, on the notes page, I've got tons of notes, but I've got one particular one. It says celebrities, and it's 100 random celebrities that I just Googled off the internet and put down in the notes page, because that's how I roll. What I want you to do, Jack, is you're going to pick one at random. Give me a number from 1 to 100.
47.
47, are you sure?
Yep.
You're happy with 47?
Yep.
I don't want you saying later on I made you pick it or anything. 47, good?
Okay.
Okay, so there's my notes page. Do you see it right there?
Yep.
And near the top, you have celebrities. It's 4 down. You take that yourself. You can keep behind the camera. I don't want to see it. Open up celebrities and then go to 47.
Okay.
Have you done that?
Yep.
You looking at the celebrity?
Looking at it.
Don't tell me, just shut the phone off. Brilliant stuff.
Okay.
So here's what we're going to do. We've got this, as I say, we've got this little whiteboard, right? Now, what I'm going to do, and if you were here in front of the camera, I'd get you to do that, but you're not, so I'm here. I'm going to do a whole bunch of dashes like this. Do you see them all?
Yeah.
Whole bunch of dashes. Loads and loads of dashes. Do you see that?
Yep.
Good. Now, check this out, because I said I was going to show you how to print using one of these sticks, and I am. See how observant you are, Jack. Did I put the dashes on one side or on both sides?
One side.
One side, exactly. But if I do this, do you know what happens?
Go on.
Now we've got the dashes on both sides. We can take that exact pattern and print it on both sides.
The fuck?
I know, right? But I'm going to go one step further because you're thinking of a celebrity, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to try and actually manipulate the ink on one side of this stick. Do you want me to do that side number 1 or side number 2? Which side?
Side number 2.
The one on the bottom, right there. I'll put that on the top. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to manipulate the ink right there. I'm going to try and reform all the dashes. But if this is going to work, you're going to have to concentrate on your celebrity. Are you concentrating?
Yep.
Watch this. All I have to do is shake. And if you concentrate, you'll see that those dashes actually reform just on the one side into Tom Cruise. Is that the celebrity you were thinking of? Yeah, and you can examine that later on if you want to. So the point of that, and Jack's looking very confused behind the camera, the point of that is just to say you can use this thing. It is so more versatile than just the cross trick. And I see everybody doing the cross trick, but it is way more versatile. And that's just one example. Digital force bag and a simple paddle move. And honestly, I've done this and it's got incredible reactions. Like, people just are absolutely blown away when I do it. So try it out. Go and figure out a way to force something. Try it out at a gig and or to friends or a social situation or whatever. I think you'll be very surprised with the results. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about is an app that is old as the hills. Now, this is a very, very old app. I mean, I seem to remember having this on an iPhone 3, but maybe I'm wrong. And it's what I talk about in the Hidden Gem series, which is things become so old that people forget about them. You know, magicians forget about them. They're looking for the latest, shiniest thing to blow everyone away. And they forget that there's tricks out there that are really old that are just as good. And this is the perfect example. Now, if you go and watch the interview that I did with Damian Surr on this channel a few weeks ago now, he's the co-creator of this app. He's the creator of the app. And he talked all about the process and all about how it actually came to be. But the app that I'm actually going to be talking about is an app called Card Now. Now, what it is basically is it allows you to have apparently have your business card printed into your phone and then magically pull it out. And this app is incredible. I've used it for years and years and years. I've spent a lot of time in my career doing business networking events. Now, if you don't know what business networking is, the idea is that you go to a place where there's a load of other business owners, you trade cards, you build up relationships with a view to eventually them passing you business and you passing them business. It's called referral marketing, or, you know, business networking or something like that. But the point is, whenever I go to events like this, because people know I'm a magician, they always expect to see a trick. And what I don't like to do at these events is spend hours just performing for them, because I'd rather be promoting my business. But one thing I do like to do is give my card out in a really unique, original way that you would only see from a magician. And that's what you get with this card now. It allows you to produce your business card in a really magical way. In essence, what happens is you point out that you've got a printer in your phone, you press the button, or you can get them to press the button, they see and hear the card prints, and then you can just pull it out the phone and give it them. Now, the app is really cool because you can actually use, basically what you do is when you buy it, you scan your business card in. And if you've got more than one business card, you can scan more than one business card in. And the whole idea is that once you, and by scan it in, you basically just take a picture of it with the phone and then you crop it down so it's the right size. And then when you print it, it just prints that scanned image. And then you have this beautiful visual of it coming out the phone. I'm going to perform it for you now so you can see it. But I wanted to give a shout out to this app. Like I say, I've mentioned it to so many people and not a lot of people know about it. I know, you know, speaking to people like Lloyd Barnes, and Lloyd is one of my best friends in the whole world, and he always talks about he likes apps where it doesn't appear to be a magic trick. Like, he prefers it when the phone doesn't really come into play. And I totally get that. Kind of like it's an inconsequential thing, but it's doing all of the magic. There's lots of different apps like that, and I totally get that. However, I love card to phone. I love apps where something like appears in the phone and you pull it out. You know, I've got tons of videos of myself doing card to phone. And this, for me, is another example of a trick a little bit like card to phone, in that you've got this wonderful magical production of a business card, which you can then pull out and give to the spectator to keep. And I tell you right now, they're more likely to keep that business card and tell other people about it doing it this way than if you just reach into your pocket and you go, there you go, there's a business card, thanks very much. I'm going to show you a performance of it right now, just a really quick performance to Jack behind the camera so you can see exactly what it looks like. But it's super practical. It's highly recommended. If you haven't got one, it's very, very cheap. Go out and get it. It's on the App Store. Okay, so Jack, I'm going to show you something. I want you to imagine for a second that I met you at a gig.
Okay.
And you were blown away by the magic that I did, and you wanted to have a business card. And you said, great, can I have a business card? This is what I would do. Jack, did you know that the latest iPhone has got a printer built into it?
How does that work?
Yeah, well, it's really cool. It's an app you can only get if you're a magician, but you can access this really special feature. What you have to do is open up your phone like this. And obviously, this is my home screen, like everyone's is slightly different. But do you see that one down there where it says Card Now?
Yeah.
That's actually a printer.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Because it makes a business card appear right now. And I'll prove it to you. I'm going to press it. Now, watch right here. Watch the home screen. Because you're going to see it print. Listen.
The fuck?
See, that's where the printer is. It's located right there. And now I've got this card. It's printed. There's only one problem, though. Can you see the problem?
It's in the phone.
It's in the phone. It's an issue, but not really too much of an issue. Because if you drag it out like that, then I can take the business card out and I can give it you and you can keep it. And if you ever need a magician, you just let me know. Okay, so we're going to do something a little bit different now with this segment. This is going to be 10 minutes long and not 5 minutes long. So this is going to take 2 of the segments up. And the reason is, this is an idea that I had a few months ago with a coin that I've been workshopping in the real world, so to speak, for about probably about 6 months now. And it gets an insane reaction. And I wanted to kind of talk you through what it is and what the concept is, because honestly, the reactions I'm getting from doing this are just through the roof, and I'd love you to try it as well. And it comes from when I first started playing around with this idea. It came from mem deck magic, because one of the things that I love about mem deck magic is it allows you to jazz as a performer. I can sit down with a memorized deck, not really have an idea of where I'm going, have people name cards, and I can kind of just jazz it. You know, that term jazz really was pioneered by Michael Close. And I love that idea. I love that idea of sitting down with no clue of where you're going or what you're going to do, and just kind of making it up as people just name cards. You're going through. So a performance to one group might be completely different to the performance to another group, because it's varying very much based on card by card. And at the same time, I was working on some coin magic. And I realized that I could jazz with a coin, which sounds crazy and it sounds ridiculous, because really, if you've just got one coin or a couple of coins, what can you do? Well, you can jazz if you actually think about it. So let me explain what the concept is. I'll give you an example with Jack behind the camera. So the concept is, it's all about superheroes. And I've actually performed this at like a Comic-Con style thing, and it's perfect for that. But superhero films are so popular these days. Like about 10, 15 years ago, if you're a superhero fan like I am, you were considered a geek, you were considered a nerd. But these days, like they're the best-selling, they're the highest-grossing films of all time. Everybody knows one superhero, another superhero, another superhero. And I had the idea, I realized that if you have somebody name a superhero, you can actually say to them, that you can actually give those particular superpowers to a coin. And that's the concept, that's the hook behind the routine. The hook behind the routine is you hand a coin out, and I need to use a silver dollar, and you say, look, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to name a superhero, and I guarantee you, whatever powers your superhero has, I'm going to be able to make this coin have the same superpowers, which sounds ridiculous, but I'm going to prove it to you. And that's what you proceed to do. And when I first had this idea, what I did is I put together a list of 15 superheroes, because I kind of thought about it, and I thought, well, what superheroes what superheroes that people name could I make a coin look as if they've got the same powers? And I realized there was a list of 15 of them, so I wrote them down. And I used to say to people, look, here's a list of superheroes. Pick one, and we're going to try and make the power of that superhero appear on this coin. And then what I realized is I started expanding the list and expanding the list. And now I don't have a list. Now I literally just say to people, you're going to name a superhero. Any superhero you want to, whatever superhero you name, I'm going to make the powers of that superhero appear right here on this coin. It sounds crazy, but that's exactly what I'm going to do. And you know what? From experience, people tend to name the same 10 or 15, 20 superheroes anyway. Occasionally you get some that are a little bit left field, but whatever superhero you name, you can pretty much every single time make it look like this coin has got superpowers. And I think I've only missed once. I can't remember what it was, but a couple of months ago, somebody named one and I couldn't come up with it. I was like, look, that's impossible. Name a different superhero. Now, this is going to be a bit of a challenge for me because Jack is not in on this at all. He has no idea. He's just sat down. He's behind the camera. He's filming this. And Jack is a bit of a comic book geek, aren't you, Jack?
Just
like he's just come back from Comic-Con. You were dressed up as like Cobra Kai or something, weren't you?
Yeah, man.
Miyagi-Do. So you know your superheroes.
Just a tad.
So this is going to be a bit of a challenge. You're not going to be going for the standard ones, but I'm going to give it a shot. So, Jack,
Yo.
I got a coin here.
Yo.
This is a silver American dollar. And obviously, when you think about America, it's kind of the home of a lot of things. But one of the things it's really the home of is comic books. You know, like Marvel and DC are all based over there. So with that in mind, I know you're a comic book fan. And I know you know millions of superheroes. I want you to name a superhero. Whatever superhero you name, I'm going to try and make the powers of that superhero appear in this coin. Are you ready?
Okay.
Name a superhero.
The Flash.
Done. This coin now has the powers of the Flash. Now, when you think about the Flash is very quick, right?
Just a tad.
Yeah. So, in other words, if the Flash was over here, he could literally move over there so fast you wouldn't see it, right? In fact, it would look something, this coin really was the Flash, it would look something like that, right? He'd literally be over there, and as quick as a flash, he'd be over there. Now, obviously, sometimes when you watch the Flash, they slow it down so you can see him slowly move. In slow motion, it would probably look like that. You'd see him go across. But in full speed, you wouldn't see him go. It would just literally go across. That's what happens with the Flash, right? But I need more of a challenge, Jack. The Flash, come on. That's a CW TV series. You got the Flash on Justice League. You can give me more of a challenge than that.
All right, then. Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler. That's the guy from the X-Men, right?
Yep.
That's not the one with the tongue that comes out. That's Toad, right?
That's Toad, yeah.
He's the Scottish guy, isn't he?
Yep.
And he's the guy that teleports all over the place.
That's the one.
Okay, here we go. So that's his main power, right? Teleportation.
Yeah.
Okay, so hang on. Done. This coin is now Nightcrawler.
Is it?
Yeah, so let's say that my hand represents a room. This is a room, right? Look, it would look like this. Watch. He would literally teleport somewhere else so quickly, you just wouldn't see it happen. That's exactly what Nightcrawler would do, right? He would literally appear and disappear in one place so quickly you wouldn't see it happen. Let's try one more. Let's try one last one. Come on, Jack. I really want you to test me here.
All right, then. Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic.
Yep.
Wow. So that is the that's the Fantastic Four, right?
Yep.
And he's the one that's all stretchy.
That's the one.
In fact, he was in the cameo in the Multiverse of Madness, and he got spaghettied.
Yeah, smartest man alive, apparently.
Smartest man alive. But he stretches himself, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. There you go. This coin now has the powers of Mr. Fantastic. You think I'm joking?
I've got to see this.
Watch. You can just literally...
The fuck?
There you go. I mean, that's Mr. Fantastic, right? That's what he does. He stretches. He's got the powers of Mr. Fantastic.
How?
So that's the point I'm trying to say. Now, I have down here, and Jack can't see it, I have a few things with me because there's certain things, for some reason, Mr. Fantastic is named quite a lot. And obviously what I do with Mr. Fantastic is I did the Copeland coins routine where you stretch the silver dollar, right? That gets named quite a lot. And to be honest, that's such a visual moment. Sometimes I'll actually even try and push them in that direction. But you can literally name anybody. So, for example, with Batman, what I tend to do is I do a colour change and I turn this coin completely back. The Invisible Woman just disappears. She's still there. She just disappears, and then you bring her back. Literally every superhero, if you do a coin teleportation, you've got Superman. You've got a magnetic coin for Spider-Man. The point is, you can literally name any superhero. The mind reader ones are really easy. Obviously, you can figure that out yourself. But you can have them name any superhero, and whatever superhero they name, you can actually have the coin look like it's got the same powers of that superhero. And to be clear, Jack, we didn't set that up, did we? I mean, that's literally how that routine plays in the real world. They name a superhero and you just kind of jazz it. You just kind of think, okay, so this is the superhero you've named. How am I going to go into that? And what you just saw me do with Jack, what I'll typically do is if I'm performing this, I'll have different people name different superpowers. So I'll be like, right, okay, what superpower have you got? Right, done. What about you? What superpower do you want? Done. What superpower do you want? Done. The Hulk is a good one because if you use the Hulk, you can just do a jumbo coin production and you can have the coin grow like 20 times bigger, which is really funny. And to be honest, if they name the Hulk, and for some reason, a lot of the kids do name the Hulk, that's where it ends. And there's not a single superhero that I found. Actually, there is one. I wish I could. I think I didn't even know what the superpower for the superhero was. I think that was the problem. But generally, there's not one superhero that you can't do this with. So go out and try it. I originally thought it'd just be something that kids get into, but it's absolutely brilliant for everything. I was at a wedding this weekend performing, and I did it at the wedding, an absolute bunch. Everybody loved it. So there you go. It's an idea for you to try. Grab yourself a coin. Maybe make a list beforehand. You know, if you're like I started off, make a list of all the superheroes that you think you can come up with an effect with. Get them to think of one, and then you can expand that list over time to the point that you're just getting people to name superheroes. So there you go. I hope you like the idea and you go out and you try it. Okay, well, I'm going to give you one more little idea here, and this comes from, where was I? I was on the virtual magic club for the Netrix. So we do this thing every week in the Netrix for silver members, where I do a virtual magic club, where it's just basically a hangout session, and people hang out, and we just talk magic and perform magic, and it's a lot of fun, and there's different themes and stuff going on each particular week. And on a recent one, somebody said to me, "Do you still use a split coin?" And the answer was yes, and they were like, "Oh, because we haven't seen you use one in a while." And I don't think I've talked about the split coin much on the channel, but, you know, Split Happens was one of my very first DVDs and kind of put me on a map as a coin creator. And, you know, Greg Wilson's Split Focus is absolutely brilliant. And I do split coin stuff all the time. In fact, I'm thinking about doing like a hows and whys of the split coin. I think that'd be really fun to do if you guys would like to see that. But I've been playing around with the idea of having half a split coin instead with a magnetic coin. Now, if you know what a split coin is, it's basically a coin that splits in two. So it's a coin that splits in two, and you open it up and it's half a coin and it's Teflon coated, a bit like this. So this is what a half a split coin looks like, right? That's a split coin. It's a thin version, and you have two together. So when it locks together, it becomes one coin, and then you can separate it. And I've been playing around with actually taking half a split coin and a magnetic coin and doing it with a magnetic coin and half a split coin. There's a few advantages to this. And the first advantage is when you, because the one disadvantage of the split coin, and something you need to be very aware of, is when you have two halves, you want to make sure that it's orientated correctly to the camera or to the audience. You don't want to have it like that, because then it becomes too thin. You want to have it like that, sometimes tilted back a little bit. When you've got a regular magnetic coin with a split coin on it, it means that the angles are way cleaner, which is great. And you can still do all the routines that you would do with a normal split coin. I mean, one of my favorite routines, I'll show it you right now, is one that I put on the original Split Happens, which I think is going on the Netrix soon. But anyway, let me show you. It uses a piece of nothing. If I take the piece of nothing, I can squeeze it and I can turn it into a coin. Now, that is a silver American dollar. It's actually a Morgan dollar. Now, you might have missed that, so let me do it again for you. Look, there's one. The second one is right there. That's coin number 2. So we have 2 coins. That one there would be number 1. This one here would be number 2, because all good things come in 3. So don't worry about these 2. There's a third one right there. And now I've got these 3 coins, I can do the trick. And the trick is to make the coins disappear. Watch. I'm going to start off with this one. If I just blow, that one vanishes completely. Just leaves us with 2, which is kind of cool. I'm going to do that again for you. Watch. If I take this one and wave this one over it, this one vanishes. Leaves us with 1 final coin. Watch the final coin. Easy come, easy go. There we go. And it's a 3-coin production and vanish sequence, which I've think I've talked about on the channel before, but it's a really nice use of the split coin, especially as you're only using technically one coin. That you're using at various different points to show 2 and 3 coins. The construction is quite nice, and 2 of the vanishes are almost self-working because you've really only got 1 coin to deal with, and that's a routine that I've always used a split coin for. But if you take a magnetic coin and you take a split coin and you do the same thing, just make sure you Teflon coat it. But if you take a magnetic coin and a split coin and you do the same thing, like I say, the angles are a little bit better, and because a lot of the stuff that I put on the split happens involved coins down on the table, and if you've got a split coin next to a regular coin, it can sometimes be a little bit discrepant. Well, this allows you to get out of that immediately, and the nice thing is you can just have this coin looks like a normal coin, so you can just have that coin amongst some other silver dollars, have them examined, and you can have the half a split coin in your palm, and then as you take the coins back, you just load that onto this coin, and now you're set up to do 3 fly or wild coin or any of the routines on split happens. So if you like using a split coin and it's something that you use in your coin work and you want to maybe try and go in a different direction for it, then give it a shot. Try it. Get yourself a magnetic coin, get yourself a half a split coin, and put them together and just play around with it. You'll find that initially the handling changes a little bit because of various different factors, but eventually you're going to find that you can do an awful lot more with this than you wouldn't be able to do with a split coin. So there you go. If you want to know more about split coins, let me know. If you want to see like a hows and whys of the split coin, let me know in the comments down below. But hopefully you guys found that useful.
Sure.
Okay, guys, so that's another 5x5 in the bag. Thank you very much for joining me. If you haven't already done so, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Like I say, you want to see more videos like this, it really helps if you do subscribe to the channel. And also, if you haven't already gone and done so, go check out the net tricks, www.thenettricks.com. We have 5 new tricks going up every fortnight on the bronze level and new business courses going up every fortnight on the silver level. And this week, today, we've just had another 5 tricks go up by Adam Wilbur, myself, and Justin Miller, and we're constantly improving the platform. So if you want to go and check it out, please do so. It's www.thenettricks.com. I'm going to be back again tomorrow with a whole stack load of videos. So once again, thanks for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow. My name's Craig from Magic TV.